A young human engineer named Ethan is stationed on a distant space research outpost orbiting a newly discovered exoplanet. The planet is rumored to host alien life, but no one has confirmed it yet. Ethan, known for his humor, jokes with his colleagues about how he would never commit to a relationship, until one day he laughs and says, "I'd say yes if she proposed," unaware how literal fate would be. Late one night, while exploring the planet's surface in a small scout ship, Ethan's instruments detect life forms moving in the dense alien forest. Suddenly, he encounters a mysterious, beautiful alien woman. Her skin shimmers like liquid silver, and her eyes glow faintly green. She speaks in a soft, melodic language. At first, Ethan cannot understand her, but she miraculously communicates telepathically. Ethan and the alien, later named Lyra, form a tentative bond. Lyra seems curious about human emotions and love, and Ethan starts to enjoy her company. There are signs of danger. Strange alien creatures stalk the outskirts of their camp, and Ethan realizes the planet itself might be alive, subtly testing them. Welcome to my channel Starlight Sci-Fi Stories. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Ethan was alone on the observation deck of the outpost, staring at the alien planet, below its surface glowing with colors he had never seen before. He leaned on the railing and laughed softly to himself, imagining the stories he would tell. If he ever returned to Earth, his colleagues always joked that he had no sense of danger, and tonight he felt the thrill of being completely isolated, so far from home. The cold metal under his hands reminded him that he was responsible for monitoring the sensors for any signs of life, anything unusual, anything that might threaten the mission. His eyes scanned the data streams on the monitor in front of him. Flickers of unknown signals appeared now, and then he frowned, wondering if the interference was natural, or if something intelligent was attempting to communicate. He shook his head, dismissing the thought he was just tired or maybe imagining things. The outpost itself was quiet. Only the hum of the engines and the occasional beep from a distant console filled the space. The silence was almost comforting after months of controlled chaos on Earth. The planet below was full of jagged mountains and deep valleys glowing softly with bioluminescent light that spread across the surface like veins of some living organism. Ethan's mind wandered to the joke he had made during lunch with his team. He had laughed and said he would say yes if someone proposed to him, and everyone had laughed, not realizing how literal fate could be. He rubbed his eyes and decided to take a short break. He needed fresh air, so he walked to the external hatch and opened it. The cold vacuum of space pressed against his suit, but he was trained for this feeling. The stars stretched infinitely around him. The planet seemed almost alive beneath him, and that thought sent a shiver down his spine. He activated his small scout ship, a sleek craft designed for quick planetary excursions, and set the coordinates for a low-orbit scan. The engines hummed, and the ship lifted smoothly, the planet below growing larger with every passing second. He could see movement in the forests. The sensors indicated something there, something moving that did not match any known animal pattern. Curiosity overcame caution, and he adjusted his course, descending toward the dense alien jungle. The trees shimmered with strange colors, and the leaves emitted soft glows that lit the mist that hovered just above the ground. His heart beat faster. Excitement and fear mixed in a strange cocktail. He landed gently in a small clearing, stepping out into the alien. Saw the ground was soft, almost sponge-like, and glowed faintly where his boots touched it. Strange flowers swayed, even though there was no wind, and he wondered if the planet had some form of consciousness. He activated his scanner, carefully observing the area, and then he saw her standing partially behind a large tree. Her skin shimmered like liquid silver, and her eyes glowed faintly green. She watched him without fear or hostility. He froze for a moment, unsure if he should move closer or retreat. Then she stepped forward slowly, her movements graceful, almost hypnotic, and he realized that she was aware of him and waiting for something. He tried to speak, but his voice caught in his throat. Instead, she emitted a soft, melodic hum. It resonated in his mind, not in sound, but in feeling, a warmth spreading from his chest to his head. He understood that she was communicating telepathically. His surprise was immense, but he tried to respond mentally, thinking of simple words. Curiosity and fear danced together. He asked who she was. She tilted her head slightly, and he felt a message in his mind. "I am Lyra, a guardian of this place." He nodded slowly, unsure if he should believe the telepathic connection. The forest seemed to react to her presence. The glowing plants pulsed gently, almost like a heartbeat. Ethan felt a strange sense of calm despite the alien surroundings. He introduced himself, and she responded with an emotion rather than words, welcoming, cautious, yet intrigued. He lowered his scanner, sensing that her species did not want to be disturbed, and he decided to trust the moment. They walked through the forest together, or rather Ethan followed. As she guided him, the plants parted, as if recognizing her presence, and the air smelled sweet, and metallic, a strange combination that made him dizzy in a pleasant way. They reached a small clearing where the ground glowed brighter, and the trees leaned inward, forming a natural dome. She stopped and turned toward him, her eyes intense. He remembered his joke, laughing to himself, and whispered mentally, "I said I would say yes if someone proposed." He felt her gaze pierce into his mind, and then a soft whisper reached him, "Then say it." The words, simple yet loaded with meaning. His heart raced, and he laughed nervously, thinking she was teasing, yet the sincerity in her mind made him falter. He did not know if he should respond, if this was some trick or a ritual, or if speaking would bind him forever. He noticed markings on the ground glowing faintly like a map, or perhaps a signal. He touched the nearest mark lightly, and felt a pulse of energy shoot through him. The sensation was not painful, but it made his knees weak. Lyra watched him closely, and he realized that his previous joke was now intertwined with something far greater than he had ever imagined. He glanced at the surrounding forest, noticing movement, shadows slipping between the trees. The sensors had picked them up, and now he saw the silhouettes, massive shapes with elongated limbs and glowing eyes, observing them from the periphery. The tension in the air grew thick, his stomach churned. He could sense danger, but also an opportunity. The planet seemed to be testing him, testing his courage, his connection with Lyra. He felt a pull toward her, not just because of her beauty or mystery, but because he knew she was important not only to him, but possibly to the future of humans on this world. He attempted to move closer to her, but the shadows began to shift faster, their presence undeniable, and he felt a primal fear surge through him. Lyra extended her hand, and he took it instinctively. A warmth spread through their joined hands, the energy between them strong, almost tangible. They had no words, yet the connection was deeper than speech, and he knew that together they could face whatever the forest sent at them. Then a loud roar echoed through the trees, the ground shook, and Ethan felt his heart leap into his throat. Massive alien predators emerged, their forms unlike anything recorded. They moved with purpose and speed, their eyes fixed on the clearing. The pulsing light from the plants cast eerie shadows that danced across their grotesque bodies. Ethan panicked momentarily, but Lyra remained calm, her eyes glowing brighter. She whispered again in his mind, "Trust me now." And he felt the assurance like a rope pulling him from the edge of terror. He nodded and followed her instructions, moving swiftly through a narrow path. She led him. The predators followed for a moment, then hesitated, as if respecting the connection they sensed he shared with Lyra. The trees seemed to guide them, creating barriers, and the glowing flowers emitted flashes of light that disoriented the attackers. Ethan could not comprehend the complexity of the defense, but he relied on her entirely, heart pounding and adrenaline surging. He realized he had never felt so alive, so aware of every sensation around him. The bond between them deepened, every pulse of fear and hope intertwined. As they reached a small cavern, the walls smooth and faintly iridescent, the predators stopped at the entrance, their eyes narrowing, and then they retreated slowly, understanding some invisible boundary had been crossed. Ethan sank to his knees, breathing heavily, his suit damp with sweat, and he looked at Lyra, who stood calmly watching him. The bond that had begun with a casual joke now felt profound, as if a single word could alter reality. He whispered mentally again, "I do not know what will happen, but I want to stay here with you." And she responded with a warmth that enveloped his entire being, a sense of safety and anticipation for what was to come. He realized that he had entered a world far beyond human understanding, and yet it felt natural to him in this moment. The night stretched on the glowing cavern walls, illuminating their forms. He spoke quietly, telling her about his life on Earth, the mundane details of human existence. She listened without judgment, absorbing every emotion he sent her. He felt a strange serenity in sharing his thoughts. The forest outside remained alive, the distant roars fading into a quiet hum, the alien plants pulsing gently like breathing beings. Ethan closed his eyes, picturing the words he would speak. When the time came, imagining a connection that transcended language and species, he laughed softly, remembering his original joke. And now it seemed prophetic. He did not know the consequences, yet he felt certain that this encounter would change him forever. The stars outside seemed closer than ever, the alien planet glowing beneath the scout ship, a reminder of how small yet significant they were in the universe. He felt Lyra's presence beside him more than ever, her energy merging with his thoughts, creating a harmony that transcended words. The forest waited outside the cave. The predators had vanished for now, but their presence lingered in the shadows, a reminder of the danger and thrill that existed beyond safety. He knew that tomorrow would bring challenges, more tests of courage and trust, but tonight he allowed himself to exist in this suspended moment, a human and an alien standing together, their destinies entwined. The night continued with silent understanding, the glowing cavern walls reflecting their intertwined forms. Ethan whispered mentally, "I will say it when the time is right," and Lyra's response came not in words, But in feeling a profound certainty that whatever happened they would face it together, the forest outside the cave pulsed softly like a heartbeat, the planet alive, and aware of the bond forming within its depths. And Ethan understood for the first time that a simple joke could carry the weight of fate. The predators could return, the universe could challenge them. But in this suspended moment, nothing mattered but the connection he had found, and the promise of something extraordinary unfolding before him, and he realized that he was no longer alone in the vast unknown, that the night would pass slowly, and he would awaken to a world forever changed by the presence of the alien woman who had whispered those unforgettable words, "Then say it." And he knew that the journey had only just begun. Ethan woke to the soft glow of the cavern walls, the bioluminescent light, reflecting off Lyra's shimmering skin, making her look even more otherworldly. He stretched slowly, feeling the soreness from the previous night, but also a strange energy coursing through him. He turned to Lyra, and she was already watching him, her eyes glowing faintly green, a silent greeting passing between them. He rose carefully and stepped closer, her presence calm yet commanding. The world outside the cave seemed distant, as if they existed in a bubble of suspended time. The forest beyond the cavern pulsed softly, as if acknowledging the bond that had begun between them. Ethan's mind raced, remembering the predators, the danger, the vast unknown that awaited beyond the safety of the glowing walls. But Lyra's steady gaze reminded him that he was not alone. The connection they shared felt alive, stronger than any human bond he had ever known. They moved together to the cavern entrance, the forest stretching endlessly before them, shadows flickering and shapes moving just at the edge of their vision. Lyra extended her hand, and Ethan took it instinctively, feeling the warmth and reassurance spread through him. They began moving cautiously, the glowing plants along the path illuminating their steps, a natural guide through the dense undergrowth. The predators had not vanished entirely, their eyes glinting in the distance, tracking them with a silent patience. Ethan felt the primal fear rising, but he kept his focus on Lyra, trusting her instincts over his own. They reached a narrow gorge, the path steep and treacherous, but Lyra moved effortlessly, guiding him, each step precise and intentional. He marveled at her grace and strength, realizing that despite her delicate appearance, she was far more capable than any human he had known. As they climbed the gorge, the sound of distant roars echoed, bouncing off the walls. Ethan's heart pounded, the fear and adrenaline sharpening his senses. He noticed strange markings carved into the rocks, faint but glowing with a similar light to Lyra's skin. He touched one lightly and felt a pulse of energy flow through him. The connection, stronger now, almost like the planet itself was acknowledging their presence. The predators appeared again, emerging from the shadows, massive and terrifying, yet hesitating at the boundary created by Lyra's energy. Ethan could feel their awareness of her and their respect for the bond they shared. He took a deep breath, steadying himself. The journey had already proven that words were not needed to convey trust and understanding. He had to rely on instincts, courage, and the silent communication they had developed together. The gorge opened into a wide plateau. The glowing forest stretched beyond the horizon. Ethan's breath caught at the sight, the beauty of the alien landscape overwhelming yet calming at the same time. He looked at Lyra and saw the same awe reflected in her eyes. She pointed toward a distant structure, a pyramid-like formation, glowing softly with an inner light. She communicated mentally, "Follow me," and he nodded, obeying the silent command. Their steps in perfect sync, they moved quickly and silently, the predators nowhere in sight, but Ethan could sense their presence lingering like a storm on the horizon. The path to the pyramid was lined with strange crystalline formations, catching the light and refracting it in patterns that made the journey seem surreal. Each step he took heightened his senses, the alien air thick and sweet filling his lungs, the ground soft yet firm beneath his boots, the anticipation building with every movement. Lyra led him to a small clearing before the pyramid, the light from the crystals converging, creating a natural beacon. She turned to him, her gaze intense, and he felt the weight of expectation pressing on him. The ritual she had hinted at the night before was imminent. Ethan swallowed nervously, the words "I will say it" echoing in his mind. He understood that this moment could define not just his life, but perhaps the relationship between humans and Lyra's species. He took a deep breath and whispered mentally to her, "Yes, I will say it." The energy around them shifted, the crystals pulsing brighter, the forest responding to the declaration. A low hum vibrated through the ground beneath them. The predators watched from a distance, their forms tense but restrained. Ethan felt the connection solidify, a warmth spreading from his chest outward, enveloping Lyra, as well a sense of unity and purpose forming between them. The pyramid before them opened, revealing a hollow interior, the walls lined with inscriptions glowing faintly like the heartbeat of the planet. They stepped inside, the air warm and filled with the scent of flowers and minerals. Ethan followed Lyra to the center, where a pool of liquid crystal shimmered, She gestured for him to kneel, and he obeyed, feeling the pulse of energy stronger. Here the water reflected not just their images, but the connection between them, a luminous tether visible only to their minds. Ethan extended his hand toward Lyra, their fingers brushing, and the energy surged through them, both a wave of warmth and clarity washing over him. He understood things he could not have learned on Earth. The predators outside moved back further, respecting the sanctity of this place. Ethan and Lyra shared visions of the planet, the history of her people, the potential of humans and aliens coexisting in a galaxy yet to be explored. He felt a deep sense of responsibility. The joke he had made so casually months ago had transformed into a commitment with cosmic significance. The ritual complete, the water in the pool rippled and flowed around them, reacting to their bond. They rose together and stepped out of the pyramid, the sun of the alien world beginning to rise, casting long shadows and golden light across the plateau. Ethan marveled at the sight. The predators gone, now completely replaced by a sense of balance and respect. The forest alive yet peaceful. He glanced at Lyra, feeling a connection that transcended words, that went beyond the physical and mental, a merging of purpose and emotion. They moved back toward the outpost, their path easier now, as if the planet itself was guiding them, protecting them from unseen dangers. Ethan's mind raced with the implications of their bond, humans and aliens united by trust, courage and understanding. He could not wait to share this with his team, though he knew it would be difficult to explain the depth and nature of the connection without it seeming absurd. Yet he felt certain that their experience had validity and power. As they approached the outpost, Lyra communicated with him, showing glimpses of the facilities the humans inhabited, and how her people could help them thrive on this planet. She revealed hidden structures, underground sources of energy and life-sustaining resources humans could not have discovered without her guidance. Ethan felt a surge of gratitude and awe at the intelligence and foresight of her species. He realized that the bond was not just romantic or emotional, but a partnership of survival and advancement. He knew the predators could return, the forest could shift, and the galaxy itself remained vast and unpredictable. Yet in this moment, he felt prepared, ready to face anything with Lyra by his side. The outpost came into view, his team unaware of the profound events that had unfolded. The humans would see the aliens first as strange signals and movements, then perhaps as beings like Lyra. Ethan knew he had to introduce her carefully. The connection would help bridge the gap of fear and misunderstanding. As they stepped into the landing zone, the team emerged from their quarters, surprised to see a glowing figure beside Ethan. He explained mentally and verbally the necessity of trust, the bond they shared, and the potential benefits of collaboration. The humans, cautious yet curious, began to accept Lyra, her appearance and abilities fascinating and initially intimidating. Ethan guided her through the protocols, showing how she could assist in exploration, research and protection of the planet. He noticed how naturally she adapted, how quickly she learned their systems, and he felt pride mixed with relief, knowing the bond was practical as well as emotional. The night fell again on the alien world, the outpost glowing softly in the darkness, the planet alive with bioluminescence, and the stars overhead. Ethan and Lyra stood together on the observation deck, the wind cool and refreshing. Their hands intertwined, the danger of the forest now a distant memory replaced by the certainty of their partnership. He whispered mentally, "I never imagined it would be like this." She responded with warmth and affection, a shared understanding of the journey they had begun together. They discussed future exploration, the balance between human curiosity and alien wisdom, the ways they could expand knowledge safely. Ethan felt a deep sense of fulfillment, the casual joke that had sparked everything now a living reality. Story that would inspire those who witnessed it and change the course of their lives. Forever the alien predators may still roam the forests, the mysteries of the planet endless. Yet they faced the future with courage and unity, the bond complete and unbreakable. The outpost, no longer just a human installation, but a bridge between species and worlds. Ethan marveled at the simplicity and complexity of it all, realizing that laughter, curiosity and openness could lead to experiences beyond imagination. He looked at Lyra, her eyes reflecting the glow of the alien sky, and whispered mentally again, "I am ready for whatever comes next." And she responded with certainty and love, the planet pulsing beneath them, the forest alive and aware of the connection. They shared, the stars twinkling like witnesses to a new chapter in human history. A chapter defined by trust, courage, and a bond that transcended worlds and boundaries. Ethan knew that life would never be ordinary again, that every step forward would be shared, every discovery celebrated together. The adventure had only begun, and yet he felt complete in the presence of the alien woman who had whispered those words that changed everything. Then say it. And he had said it. Their destinies intertwined, their story a testament to the power of connection, courage, and the extraordinary possibilities that awaited those willing to embrace the unknown together.